Hey, my people, what is going on? It's your boy Mario of Woke Up a Rebel, bringing you a new episode of Woke Up a Rebel Reacts. Thank you to every single one of you who have subscribed to the channel, who keep liking the videos, who keep sharing it with your peoples, who leave comments. Truly appreciate every single one of you. To those of you who I'm spamming all the time, sharing the content, I appreciate you and your patience. You know what I mean? With, allowing me to share my content with you. And thank you to every single one of you who actually take the time out to watch it. You know what I mean? So the point of this channel is to inform you about things that are going on in our world from the perspective of somebody who grew up in a Christian home. I am a faith-based person, but also I'm not perfect. I am living in this world just like the rest of us, just like everybody else, and just trying to navigate through it, trying to see what is between the lines of what is shown to us, in the sense that are we being told the entire truth? Are we being told half truths? Is everything that is coming out in regards to music technology, is it good for us, right? There's a lot of changes happening right now in 2024, and the Apple Vision Pro is one of those things that have taking the media outlets and all of the platforms by storm. There's a lot of reviews out there of the product, so I'm reviewing someone's review of the product, and I'm going to also share something from another platform as well that's a little bit more on the conspiratorial side, I guess you can say, but trying to add a little bit of fun to this. So let's get straight to it. So the video is by a tech reviewer named Casey Neistat. Right, so let's get right into this. I'm gonna skip right through it pretty quick so that shorten the time of the video as best as I can.
And also Juke Island. But first, we're gonna head over. Strategy for interacting with people. They gaslight you into thinking.
So, if you're moving a lot while you're moving, this thing comes up that says tracking failed. So it doesn't track if you're moving a lot. It says nothing for the sensors to lock onto. It doesn't know where to put stuff. But standing at a subway stop watching a Mr. Beast video is a pretty special experience. Hold on, Jordan, let me try to figure out how to... What do you think?
It's interesting. I can't imagine why you're looking at the...
Do you remember how ridiculous we looked when Bluetooth was a new thing? We looked like we were talking to ourselves, and some people still get confused. Like, is that person on the phone, or are they just talking to themselves and they're nuts, right? Imagine, you're doing all of this type of stuff, in public. It's weird.
I'm looking at you right now.
Okay.
I can see you clear as day. You got on a blue tie with a beautiful tie pin at the top, so I can see you.
I get off here. Enjoy your adventure.
Bye-bye. I opened up Apple TV, and it was like this window right here, Jordan, and as I started to move, the window went away with the subway car. You can't use windows if you're in if there's a lot of kinetic movement. And I imagine it works in an airplane because the airplane is so steady, but this is a subway and it's bouncing. So I gotta wait till we get there. I have this thing tethered to my iPhone. It seems to be working well enough, but for some reason when I try to open Safari, it won't open.
I find it hilarious that he's doing all of this in a subway. Like, it looks like he's kind of like being careful with his stepping, with his footing, and out of all places, a subway, which I guess is a good place to test it out, which is an everyday place for a lot of people. But people without an Apple Vision Pro are having trouble staying on the platform, and especially in Toronto, you hear a lot of subway shutdowns for long periods of time because somebody wandered off onto the tracks or try to do something else, unalive themselves. But I don't know, it's weird. Sorry.
I was just responding to text messages.
No way! You're the only person I wanted to. Casey, wait, Casey, I can tell.
Did you not tell?
No way.
Oh
my god! We were
just let's say
oh
something.
my god! No way! I'm actually freaking.
The idea that I could have my whole computer digital online world that exists in the real world, that's what That's what feels like is bigger than AR or VR. Like I have the Oculus, it's great, but it definitely feels like a toy. This feels like a little glimpse into the future of what computing could be like down the road. Why is everybody staring at me? Do I look as ridiculous as those people make me feel like I look?
Your eyes are glowing.
How you doing? Jordan, you're standing right in front of my Mr. Beast video. Come right there. Okay.
Years ago. This used to be a bar? Yeah, you want to walk under this?
So the idea of spatial computing, it doesn't make sense to me when I'm sitting in my office. I've got multiple screens. But right now I'm like in the city. I'm in the middle of Times Square. I've got my virtual keyboard here. I've got Apple TV there. I got YouTube Safari's open here. And it all kind of works. Like this, what I've got going on right now, this is wild. It's impossible for me to imagine that you can't see what I can see. Everything seems so real, and then I can just stand up.
Yeah, so, just witnessing this myself right now, who wants this? Like, why would somebody want this? Like, people are getting hit by cars all the time using their regular eyes, and now you're going to have all of this happening, and I'm pretty sure, there's fair warnings, it's probably not meant for kids to be wandering around in the streets, but it's like, this thing seems so bulky. Like, why would you want to carry all of this? And for me, just wearing glasses in the summertime makes me, like, overheat. I start sweating, so imagine wearing, like, these goggles. It's weird.
Yes, you've done it.
Thank you. The butterfly's eating my donut.
Okay, so it seems interesting. It seems like fun. It seems like something we don't need, realistically. I have yet to see something that he has shown us of something that we actually need. Okay, I can type, I can surf the web and stuff like that. And, there's a lot of good that can be used with this technology. But where there's good, there's also things that are not so good, like not so good uses. Like, what if you have an addiction to corn, right? Are you going to be watching it 24/7 now in public? Like, it's weird. So I'm not going to finish the video because it's like we get the gist of it. What I really wanted to show you was a different perspective of what all of this means. So I'm going to head over to this video by The Truth Is. Truth Is, I guess you can say it's a conspiracy theory YouTube channel, but it's very well produced. Shout out to them. Some things are a little bit crazy and out there, some theories, but sometimes they get you thinking, right? So I want you to check out this clip from this point specifically, and let's get to it.
The video of the people walking around using these goggles is going to be our future. Soon, these goggles and then the Neuralink would be normal just like using an iPhone.
Yeah, that's exactly how technology works. It starts out as this new incredible technology that most people can't afford, and then they make it affordable one way or another. Just like we saw with TVs. If you recall back in the day, TVs were rare. Not everyone had a TV in the house, especially when they came out with like flat screen TVs and high definition TVs. And now almost every home in America has a 4K television. And we know why that is because it's one of the main sources for manipulation used by the elite. We see that with a lot of the TV shows that are on TV these days. What's crazy though is I saw that video you were talking about, showing those people walking around using the Apple Vision Pro in their everyday lives, going on about their day. It looked like it was ripped straight out of a Simpsons episode. And we all know the Simpsons don't predict the future, but the creators are Freemasons who know the plans for the future, and that's why they're able to put it in the show. But the Simpsons episode is called Friends and Family, and it shows us this again. In that episode, there's a scene where everyone is shown walking around wearing what looks to be the exact same goggles like the Apple Vision Pro ones. I found this very interesting though, because the design seems very, very similar to the Apple Vision Pro. And the way people are interacting with it now in the real world looks very similar to how the way the characters in the Simpsons were shown using it. I'd been following the Apple Vision Pro for a while, seeing what it was going to be with, but I never thought it would have the impact it's having now, where people are literally walking around the street with this on, crossing the street, going to stores, interacting with other humans through this virtual space. I mean, it blows my mind.
Yeah, and to me, it just shows that we're really being pushed into this digital world. I see the future already because we are in that future. What we're seeing now is the prototype of what our near future is going to look like. And I'm not talking about 30, 40 years from now. I feel like within the next 5 to 10 years, this will be normal and this will be part of our day-to-day lives. They're already showing us how people are wearing them in the train, wearing them walking down the street, wearing them in their homes while they're just doing what they got to do. And think about this. We already have our phones that are between us. We already spend so much time and we barely have enough time for each other. Imagine when we put these goggles on and we're in this world, this digital world, but we have these goggles on that further separates everyone and has everyone stuck in their own heads. And that's exactly what they're trying to build. They are trying to divide us. They're trying to separate us. They're trying to have us live in this digital world that they created, because all it is going to provide these people is more control over our lives. They're going to be able to know more and more about us, because with this piece of technology, just like they're planning on with Neuralink, it's going to be sending back all our data back to these people that own these devices and these apps. And that's exactly their plan. They want to know everything about us. They want to know how to manipulate us. And we're giving them the keys to our inner thoughts when we put these things on, especially once we start using the Neuralink, you know? One thing for sure, though, people cannot deny that The Simpsons, for some reason, seems to have the ability to know the future. And like I've said before, I don't think they're fortune tellers. I don't think that they're using a crystal ball and seeing what's going to happen. I believe that these are just the Masonic plans that have been in motion for centuries. And they've been showing us these plans through their movies, through their TV shows like The Simpsons. This technology, this exact same technology, we saw years back in one of Hollywood's productions. You know, many of Hollywood's productions, many of Hollywood's movies showed this exact same technology. They were planning this. They were already creating this, and this is exactly what they wanted.
Yeah, and The Simpsons aren't really the only show. We see other shows throughout the past that have kind of touched on topics like this. We know the show Black Mirror, for example, had an episode that touched on this, where everyone had technology that kind of augmented their reality. And I believe the episode I'm referring to, I can't remember the name of it right now. The episode I'm referring to is people had an implant inside of them that recorded all their memories and allowed authorities to have them play it back whenever they needed to.
Yo, there's something to be said about that show, Black Mirror. It was a very weird show. Like, I didn't want to watch it at first, and I think I started watching it when the Bandersnatch season, I guess you can call it, was out. So then I started going back, and it's just like, it's very weird. That Britney Spears one, or I guess it's like depicting what Britney was maybe going through with Miley Cyrus, I think it was. That was a weird one, but all of these TV shows, it's like predictive programming. Like, if you think that it's a conspiracy that there's such thing as predictive programming, then I mean, look, it's right in front of us. They use a very popular show like The Simpsons to get people like, waiting to see what's next that they're going to predict. And why do they get it right so many times?
This might be this in its infancy, you know? I mean, some might say this is evolution of the human species, but are we evolving, or are we being herded in a direction by the elites? Are they pointing us where they want us to go? And we think we have the illusion of free will. It's becoming obvious. They're pushing us into a virtual world. You're seeing more and more people doing less social interactions. We have people going out into stores, going out into public places wearing these goggles, interacting with people through these goggles. It's not the same. It's not physical interaction anymore. It's a social interaction through an augmented reality. One thing that's very manipulative, in my opinion, with these companies is that the way they roll out this technology, they present it as the next greatest thing. You mentioned it earlier with the iPhone. When the original iPhone came out, it was the most innovative thing that everyone had to have. And now the majority of people have an iPhone these days. And I feel like we're seeing this happening with this Vision Pro goggles. If you ask me, I think the true intention behind this technology is what the intentions have always been by the shadowy elites. It's to manipulate and to control in one way, shape, or form what we see, what we do, and how we do those things. And I will agree with you. It does seem more and more like we're living in a futuristic movie.
Yeah, it looks like we're the future that was shown in Back to the Future, or even like in the movie Ready Player One. You know, I believe these are the plans that they had for us for a very long time, and they're unfolding now. And I find the timing interesting because all of this started happening after 2020. All of this excessive push to the virtual world, all the change, everything that's being pushed upon us, it started to ramp up after 2020. And I believe that 2020 had a spiritual value that has gone unseen by most of the world. They think that it was just associated with that sickness, but they don't realize that it was the rebirth of the world. The new world was beginning, the start of what they have been creating for years, what they have birthed, the Masonic world that they wanted. And we're seeing it happen. We're seeing it in full fruition. It's all unfolding in front of our faces. Not only the way people are thinking nowadays, not only the way people are carrying themselves nowadays, but now the technology that's going to be accepted, the technology that's going to become normal, that's going to rip us away from the real world, that's going to put us in a world created by the elite to further manipulate us and separate us further away from God, further away from our family, further away from the real world that they're destroying in front of us. This is how they're going to keep us further distracted while they do whatever they want and we question nothing. This is how we're going to lose touch of reality and lose touch of ourselves because we're going to be trapped in this digital world. And that's what they want. Everyone who opens their eyes and looks around notices how bad things are right now. You have to blind yourself not to see. And that's why they're giving us these goggles. That's why they're telling you to wear these goggles. And that's why you're going to see all the big influencers promoting them and all the tech people promoting them because that's what they want. They're using them to push this agenda. They're taking us into this new world. And unfortunately, most people are going to be open to it. And not just open to it, but happy for it, you know? Well, I'm going to end it here, guys. I appreciate each and every one of you guys for stopping by.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of, conspiratorial things in this video as well. They mentioned Freemasons a lot. I may agree with a lot of this stuff. Some people may get offended because they have Freemasons in their family and they're like, oh, that's not what happens. But at the end of the day, we've all learned that when you're at like the lower levels of it, you're not really exposed to a whole lot. But it just seems like there's a lot of people in power at these companies and government that are in that particular fraternity. So it's easy to point out that like, oh, this could be a Masonic agenda and stuff like that. But I mean, what do you guys think? What do you think the agenda is here? Do you think that the Apple Vision Pro was created to benefit humanity, or is it to control humanity, to have you interact less with other people so that, these companies can have you glued to their devices a lot longer. Like, look what's happened with social media. Look what's happened with social media. We have all of this on our phones, right? Nobody imagined that isolation would become a bigger thing because we have phones and more access to information, more access to people. We have less real human to human interactions. I personally don't want to be all doom and gloom, but if you already have an addictive personality where you're hooked on your phone, I wouldn't recommend you get something like the Apple Vision Pro, because it's just going to make you sink more into this digital world, into this digital landscape where, who knows, it might get to the point where you might not be able to tell the difference between reality and what's not. Right? I hope it doesn't get to that, but I mean, a lot of movies, including The Matrix, have predicted this behavior, so, and these things. So let me know what you think in the comment box. Thank you so much for watching this video. Do you think the Apple Vision Pro is good for humanity, for society, or not? I have a question for you. Do you know your neighbors? Do you know the people that live around you, on your floor, down your street? That's an issue, because that's not what community is, right? We're supposed to, if you live somewhere, back in the day, who knows how far back, everybody got together and helped each other out. Now people don't even know each other, right? So, yeah, I don't know if this is going to be a good thing for humanity, folks. I personally don't think so. But let me know what you think in the comment box below. I am your boy Mario. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Woke Up a Rebel Reacts. Catch you in the next one.